Today is Wednesday, Parashat Shemini, and the parasha of this week tells us about the unfortunate passing of the two sons of Aaron, Nadav and Avihu, on the day of the inauguration of the Mishkan. Both two of his four sons passed away, and the pasuk says, "Vaikhu bnei Aaron Nadav v'Avihu ish machtato." The sons of Aaron, Nadav and Avihu, each took his fire pan, vayitenu bahen esh. They put fire in them, and vayasimu alea ketoret, and placed incense on it. Vayakrivu lifnei Hashem, and they brought in front of Hashem esh zara, an alien, a foreign fire, asher lo tziva otam, that he had not commanded them. So, what was the sin of Nadav and Avihu that they were so punished by death on the day of the inauguration of the Mishkan? So the pasuk seems to indicate the reason. They brought an alien fire, fire that they were not commanded, and according to our commentators, that fire was supposed to come mishamayim, and instead they brought their own fire that they were not commanded to do so. If you read in Rashi, it brings other reasons. One reason they says here, because horu halacha bifnei Moshe Rabban, because they said halacha in front of Moshe the Rav. When the Rav is present, he's the one to give the halacha, not someone who would be junior to him. Rabbi Ishmael says, "Shtuye ayin nichnesu lamikdash." They were shtuye ayin. They had drank wine, and they were sort of drunk, and they went into the mikdash and served in the Bet HaMikdash in that state of being drunk. And that's why, according to this explanation, the next subject in the parasha is the idea that the commandment not to go into the Bet HaMikdash to do service after a person has drank wine. And the same thing applies, by the way, even in prayer, a person who's drunk should not stand up to pray. Should wait until the wine sort of wears off from him. The question is asked, and some say because they did not marry, they were single, they should have been married, they didn't want to marry. But still, the pasuk tells us very clearly, because they brought esh zara, a foreign and alien fire. Why do the commentators go and bring us all these other reasons? There's even some that say, they were saying, when will Moshe and Aaron pass away so they could take their place? But it's really all connected, because esh, which means fire, has to do with enthusiasm, like we saw last week's parasha. Esh tukad ala mizbeach lo tichmeh. There should always be a fire on the mizbeach, on the altar. It means about the person should always have enthusiasm in serving Hashem. However, even with enthusiasm and with a desire to serve Hashem in a devoted way, there are limits. A person has to go according to the rules. Nadav and Avihu had an incredible amount of enthusiasm to serve Hashem, to the extent that they wanted to bring their own fire. But they should have realized that fire was supposed to come mishamayim, from heaven, to light up the incense. They should have been brought their own fire, even if they're in their zeal, in their enthusiasm, in their great devotion, they wanted to show that they wanted to contribute to it. They should realize that there are limits and there are rules to the game, so to speak. There are mitzvot, there's ways to do it. And a person cannot overstep those boundaries. Within the enthusiasm in serving Hashem, there should always be boundaries according to halacha. And that would explain the rest of the reasons that are brought. The ones who hold that they drank wine and went into the service, because yayin yesamach levav enosh, the wine brings joy into the person, and they wanted to serve Hashem with extra joy, with extra simcha, and they drank. But no, again, there are boundaries. That the idea that they said halacha in front of their Rav is because of their great enthusiasm in serving Hashem. They wanted to say halacha themselves, No, but there are boundaries. You have to give honor and respect the Rav who's present. He should be the one giving the halakha. The fact that they did not marry, that's also because of their great devotion that they wanted to Hashem, to be busy only with serving Hashem rather than being involved in caring for a wife and a family. Well, that also comes from the same idea of having extra enthusiasm and zeal with no boundaries when a person should act according to halakha. There is a mitzvah to marry and to have children. And also the idea of the commentators that say, when will Moshe and Aaron die so they would take their place? They felt that Moshe and Aaron were too soft on the people, that they were too humble maybe. They wanted to take their place to show their great devotion to Hashem. And again, here too, we see that the idea of bringing Esh Zara, a foreign fire, means that in their devotion to Hashem, in their great enthusiasm in serving Hashem, they forgot that there are boundaries and there are rules to be observed according to halakha. And if the fire was supposed to come mishamayim, they were not to bring their own fire to put on the incense and bring it in. And these are lessons for all of us in terms of serving Hashem with devotion, with commitment, but to do it within the boundaries of halakha. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.